as we heard about the global situation and the regional situation, now it is time to talk about the national situations. I'll start from Bangladesh, and we have here speaker, uh, a well-known lawyer, Rizwana Hasan from Bangladesh Environmental Laws Association, and she is the executive director of Bella, and also Bella is the Friends of the Earth Bangladesh group. And she last a few months ago she filed a legal action to ban single-use plastics in Bangladesh, which was accepted by the court, and she will share that information as well as um, what other laws to curb the plastic pollution in Bangladesh, and how can we maximize the law to prevent plastic pollution. Especially Bangladesh is a has a long history, because that's one of the country in the region banned the shopping bags few decades ago. Whether it's effective, so whether the new approach is going to resolve this issue. So, Rizwana, please.
Thank you, Hemantha, and a very good morning to all of you. We haven't been seeing one another for long, so thank you, Hemantha, for creating the opportunity that's allowing us to see faces of many old friends. Um, see, the plastic industry in Bangladesh is actually growing. So it started its journey in 1960, and in 1989, Bangladesh imported about 10,000 tons of polymer, something that's required to produce plastic products. So from 10,000 tons in 1989, the figure rose up to 1.3 lakh ton in 2018, and there is an increase. There is a growth of 20% in the plastic industry here in Bangladesh, and it is estimated that every Bangladeshi produces about 2 kg of plastic waste. The government has huge incentive package for the industry. So when we talk about regulating plastic, we have to bear in mind the fact that there is a political economy that's working behind the industry. So in terms of growth, plastic industry is actually the volume of it is actually increasing here in Bangladesh. And if we rely on the statistics given by the Department of Environment, every day around 3,000 tons of plastic waste are being produced here in the country. 39% of it is being dumped, 25% linked to environment one way or the other, and they claim that 36% is being reused or recycled. So if you compare it with the global figure that has been given by Sam, it's somewhat sounds impractical that when the global figure is 2% only, having it recycled at a rate of 36% in Bangladesh is something to be accepted with a big question mark. As Hemantha said, that Bangladesh was one of the first countries, or rather the first country, to have banned the use of polythene shopping bags back in 2002. For that, the Environment Conservation Act 1995 was amended, and the government was given power to regulate production, use, manufacture, import, export of any substance that can be considered harmful for the environment. So under that broad authority given to the government, polythene shopping bags were banned in 2002. Not only that, Bangladesh has a law that was enacted in 2010 that requires that all export-oriented sectors will be using jute bags. We'll have to discard plastic packaging and we'll have to use jute bags. So it's mandatory on the export sector to use jute bags and not use plastic bags for goods that are being exported from here to other countries. And the same also applies for import of similar goods like cement and other products. So you can't even bring in cements here in Bangladesh that are wrapped in plastic baggage. But this is also a law that's being um, ignored. And one after another, jute mills are being closed down. While we are seeing a growth in the plastic industry, the jute mills, particularly the state-owned ones, are being closed down. The recent one was closed down just 7 days back. If we talk about the laws here in Bangladesh, I've mentioned the jute packaging law, the Environment Conservation Act, and the import policy order, but it's interesting to see how laws have developed in the other parts of the world. As of July 2018, around 127 countries of the world have introduced some form of law to regulate the plastic industry. Most of them target the use of plastic and require alternatives to be introduced within a given period of time. And they use the term biodegradable and compostable. And they often say biodegradable and compostable plastic as well. So that is an area which can mislead, uh, you know, uh, consumers here in our part of the world due to their lack of awareness about the actual state of compostable and biodegradable plastic. A good number of countries have imposed huge taxation on retail sale of plastics, and there are others who require strict post-use disposal of plastics. Uh, if we talk about our legal action, it was not only Bella, it was Bella, ISDO, and 9 other NGOs who brought a public interest litigation in the courts of Bangladesh. Our plea was to get a broad direction on the government so that Section 6 of the 6A of the Environment Conservation Act is used, and the government uses the same to regulate the use of plastic, which is a product that's harmful to the environment. And we have filed the petition against 7 government agencies and the plastic producers, which is definitely a non-government entity. And the court on 6 January 2020 has told the government that it has to strictly enforce the ban against the plastic bags. The arguments from the government side is the machineries that are used by these plastic bag manufacturers are portable. So every time they go for a drive, the owners of the factories just remove the machinery. So the court has said that when you this time seal the industry, make sure you seize the machineries also. So the first call on the government has been to strictly enforce the existing legal ban on polythene through regular market monitoring, shutting down of the polythene manufacturing factories, and seizure of machinery. The second call on the government has been to ban the carrying, selling, use, marketing of polythene plastic bags and single-use plastic items in the coastal areas within 1 year. So it has to be done by January 2021. And also to ban the use of single-use plastic items in all hotels, restaurants throughout the country. So this is a process of gradually phasing out. So you first target the hotel restaurants, you then target the coastal areas, and then gradually the whole of the country. And this timeline we have actually borrowed from our neighboring country, India, where they have said they'll be phasing out all single-use plastic items by 2022. So if our neighbor bans it and we don't ban it, the risk becomes that we become a dumping ground of our neighbors' plastic products. The court has also asked the government to use Section 6A and to impose a blanket regulation. But as I said, instead of the order being implemented, we got this exposure to COVID-19, and that unfortunately has added to the volume of plastic waste in the country. If you see reports by Al Jazeera, the plastic waste products has increased by 6% here in Bangladesh during COVID time. There is no monitoring at all. The government could not take any action. And globally also there is a political economic part of it. The UN has not been able to come to a resolution where everyone would agree to ban single-use plastic item from all across the world within a given time frame. However, there is a call that we have to regulate use of plastic to save the oceans of this country. But before I conclude, I have to mention one country which has socio-economic realities like us, which is Rwanda. They have very successfully controlled the use of plastic bags, and they are on their way to control the use of single-use plastic items. We can also borrow from Chile and Costa Rica. They have a very elaborate plan on phasing out from the use of different single-use plastic items. So the call here in Bangladesh is polythene bag and single-use plastic, and the timeline that has originally been set is 2021 for controlling it in the coastal areas and in hotel restaurants, and 2020 for complete phasing out. So I stop here. If there are questions, I would be happy to answer. Thanks, Hemantha.
Thank you very much, Rizwana. So that's a very important information. So we just received from you. Once India ban, once Bangladesh ban, is the other countries in the region are going to be the dumping ground. So let's go to Nepal and see what. Thank you very much, Rizwana. So that's a very important information. So we just received from you. Once India ban, once Bangladesh ban, is the other countries in the region are going to be the dumping ground. So let's go to Nepal and see what Prakash Sharma has to say. And Prakash Sharma is the executive chair of the Friends of the Earth Nepal, or ProPublic Nepal, and he has been in the field for last 3 decades fighting on environmental issues, and he's a very successful environmental lawyer. Prakash, you have the floor now.
Thank you, Hemantha. Good morning, everyone, once again. So as I heard other friends, our situation is also same in Nepal. Plastic is a major problem, environmental problem in our country too. So, Hemantha, could you go to second slide? These are the pictures only. Just go ahead. Go ahead. So this is so plastic is also very much used in Nepal, and as other countries, it started in 1990s, and as Rizwana says, the jute bags and other alternatives were jute factories were closed down, and plastic took over everywhere. It is a very much environmental degradation we are facing due to the plastic. 16% of the total urban waste comprise of plastic, and that is 2.7 ton of daily plastic garbage production in Nepal. In Kathmandu alone, 100 million plastic bags are consumed in a month, and government has taken various initiatives, but that seems to be only lip service. Because I'll share that how it is a lip service. Hemantha, could you go?
Yeah.
So Hetauda is one of the city close to Kathmandu. It started, banning the plastic in 1998, and Pokhara started in 2010, and other municipalities also started. So there was no national ban, but municipalities they started on their own in their own city. However, Kathmandu banned it in 2013. But what happened? Nepal Plastic Manufacturer Association, they filed a writ petition in the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court unfortunately issued interim order, and that attempt was just stopped. However, in 2015, again government under the Environmental Protection Act 1997, it started. It issued an order that plastic below 40 microns within the Kathmandu Valley are banned, and for outside Kathmandu, it was only 30 microns. So that was also again challenged in the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court issued interim order in favor of petitioner that it should be 40 microns. However, again, government saying that this is a impractical decision, they on their own reduced that 40 microns to 30 microns. Recently, one of the another municipality which hosts Mount Everest, they have initiated action that 30 microns will be banned. So all these initiatives are random, and there are certain laws which allows government to ban use of plastic. And when I'm saying plastic, mostly focus is only plastic bags. Other plastic use are not banned in Nepal. So Environmental Protection Act 1997 allows government to initiate actions to curb the pollution. Under that, in 2015, government issued a notification in the Gazette which banned 40 microns, up to 40 microns in Kathmandu Valley and 30 microns outside the valley. But the court case is going on and court has not given its decision. Under the Local Self-Governance Act, as I mentioned, local municipalities are taking initiatives by that law, and most Ilam is the one of the city which has successfully implemented that ban. Solid Waste Management Act, which also provides provisions for municipality to do it. Segregation is also required, but unfortunately there is no segregation system. All the plastic waste goes to the municipal waste and goes to the landfill site. Kathmandu, as I already mentioned, that in 2013 initiated, but due to the Supreme Court intervention, it is not it is not applied. Nepal government 2015, as I already mentioned, and then now Nepal government has taken initiative to ban plastic under the budget 2016-17, which says that these plastic products which are below 13 microns, they are banned. They cannot sell it. Hemantha, go ahead. Our new constitution, which is 2015, which has a right to healthy environment. We are also following our friends in Bangladesh. We are preparing a petition to file, and our basis is Article 30 of the Constitution, which requires right to healthy and clean environment, and there is also provision for compensation to the victims of pollution, and also under the directive principles there is a polluters pay principles is also recognized by the Constitution. So we are also trying to apply these. Now Local Government Operation Act has been in place, which also allows to do partnership with the municipality, and some of the municipalities are trying to do partnership with the NGOs to segregate especially the plastic, but not much initiative has been taken to ban it. There is a campaign from the government of Ministry of Forest and Environment. However, there is a campaign, but in the same year, the government reduced its microns from 40 to 30, and that is also from the pressure from the plastic manufacturer companies. Kathmandu municipality recently has a budget which allows municipality to take care of the solid waste management, and also ban cloth distributing of the cloth bags, but that is also not in a effective manner. Many NGOs are working in the addressing the plastic problem of plastic, but again the government initiative is not so serious, so those efforts are not very much useful. The plastic is also only focused in the plastic bags, all milk package, junk foods, plastic, bottles, plastic cups, plastic plates, and spoons, forks, all are not, considered as a plastic. So government has not taken any initiatives. So single-use plastic has been not very much regulated, and that is a major problem in Nepal. So I think there is a possibility of legal case, and I hope that Supreme Court will be considered it seriously, as we have a good judgment from India and Bangladesh now we have. So ProPublic, Friends of Earth Nepal, is also planning to initiate a legal action, and I request all of you to provide resource materials, information in this area. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prakash. That's very good information. So we know that plastic banning is not an easy process, because there are many big polluters are behind. The plastic companies and the single-use plastic producers are everywhere, and there are many big. They are the big polluters, and they have to take this responsibility. And we have been talking about extended producer responsibility for many years, but still many of the countries doesn't have very effective extended producer responsibility.
We came across of a situation where many areas of our shore or seashore was flooded with huge. We were of the opinion the seashore has to be managed by the Coast Conservation Department, and they have failed to take necessary steps in order to. Hemantha, next one. Yeah, Sri Lanka actually, as I said, Sri Lanka is having a lot of issues. The the plastic waste also contributes 10 to 11% share of the Sri Lankan waste collected by the municipalities, and it has become a major issue because as a country we are devoid of proper technology and infrastructure for material recycling and the recovery. Next. I have given some examples of single-use plastics here. Out of the plastics, the single-use plastics, as you all know, are most dangerous. In Sri Lanka, the examples that I have given, which are found on the screen, are some of the examples where single-use plastics are used, but some of them are not. And main law relating to the single-use plastics is connected with the National Environment Act, which was introduced in 1980. And there are some sections to deal with these type of issues. I have given these sections, section 10B, 10C, and 10.
We cannot hear. It's mute. Hemantha?
Can you hear again?
Yes.
Right. Section 10O, section 10I, section 10Q. Those are the powers which can be exercised by the Central Environment Authority. Especially 10O deals with the licensing or dealing with the other international countries and the organizations with respect to environmental protection, environmental management. And we are of the opinion certain importations of the single-use plastics has to be treated as importing or transboundary movement of the hazardous waste and restricted, and especially Section 10I require local authority comply with the recommendations relating to environmental protection laid down by the Central Environment Authority. And Section 10Q is also deals with the environmental protection, which can be used to ban single-use plastics. Especially the recent gazette notifications issued by the country are mostly, most of them are under Section 23W of the National Environment Act. Under the Section 23W of the National Environment Act, Minister can issue orders under the as a gazette notification prohibiting use of any material for any process, trade or industry. Under that, actually, we can see the next slides. The minister has issued number of gazette notifications. This gazette notifications bearing number 2034/34. Actually, the manufacture of polythene or polythene product less than 20 microns is banned in the country. But in Nepal, my friend was speaking that even in that country, thickness less than 30 microns are banned. But in Sri Lanka, only they have considered only up to 20 microns. And actually, offer for sale, even the offer for free of charge, all these things are banned in this country under this particular gazette notification in Sri Lanka. Next. Then there is another gazette notification 2034/36 that prohibits open burning of refuse with the plastics. Actually, any person who fails to comply these regulations published under this gazette is liable to be punished under Section 31 of the National Environment Act. Next. Then 2034/37, it actually prohibits the use of all forms of polythene and polypropylene, polyethylene products in the country. Especially these days, we are in the actually verge of we are very close to our parliamentary election. Now, the candidates, they cannot use polythene decorations for their political rallies, because by these gazettes, all use of polythene materials in political rallies, social or religious or national or cultural activities are now banned in this country. This gazettes 2034/38, this actually prohibits manufacture of food containers, plates, cups, and spoons from expanded polystyrene, and not only the manufacture, sale, offer for sale, or free of charge, all these things are banned by this particular gazette. But it is very sad. There are two more gazettes which I have not included in the presentation. There is another gazette known as 2034/35. It's also bans manufacture of any bag of high density polythene as a raw material for the country use. And there is another gazette notification that is also issued on the same date, that is 1st September 2017. 6 gazettes notifications were issued under the National Environment Act. That is that bans the next gazette 2034/33, bans the manufacture of polythene or any polythene product of 20 microns or below thickness used in the country. That is also very important. And especially the enforcement is very weak in this country. And before enforcement, public awareness should be made about the recent restrictions and the bans. But the government has failed to inform the public and educate the public about these gazette notifications and the restrictions imposed to such gazette notifications. Therefore, lack of knowledge has led to public still using plastic bags and certain items which are banned through these gazette notifications. The government has failed to enforce monitoring activities, and even we are hard to actually, we have not come across litigating against the violators of these gazette notification because due to poor monitoring by the law enforcement authority. The ocean pollution, as I said at the very beginning, is a severe problem in the country, and we have already informed to the MIPA, that is Marine Pollution Prevention Authority in the country, and we have litigated against the Coastal Management Authority for their failure to manage oceans, especially the seashore, and lot of single-use plastics that are thrown out by the users now collected on the seashore as a result of this. And lot of instructions and certain guidelines have been formulated by the National Central Environment Authority. All these guidelines and the procedure of importation has been published by the Central Environment Authority. Therefore, any party who imports biodegradable or compostable polythene or polymers and products, they have to register and fill the necessary forms before they import any such thing into our country under these instructions issued by the issued under the National Environment Act by the Central Environment Authority. And we also have to pledge or request from the people and the majority to actually use conventional or use other items instead of plastic items. Especially we have to now, the time has come to get rid of or get away from these single-use plastics, and at this juncture it is our duty to pledge from all responsible citizens and from all mankind living on the earth to actually do away with the habit of using single-use plastics and go for the alternatives. And the time has come to take immediate actions, especially by the authorities and by the environmentalists as well as the mankind to prevent this issue, prevent this pollution caused by the single-use plastics. Otherwise, we will be end up with very huge and uncontrollable disaster at the end. Thank you.